Alright, my dudes. Let's do another quest after I see what this guy is. I think that it's Dog.
Looking for that special Yeah. Walk well.
Change your mind yet? You willing to help us deal with the Ant Agonizer and Mechanist? You drive a hard bargain, friend. But seeing how we haven't been able to solve the problem ourselves, fine. You've got a deal. But I expect results.
Wait.
Oh, and please do try to use some discretion. We already have plenty of would-be heroes starting wars in our streets. We don't need another. If it'll help, I'm glad to. And one day there was a crazy woman leading a bunch of ants into town. She said humanity was dead and the ants would inherit the earth, stuff like that. Well, that gave Dom plenty of time to line up a shot or two on the ants. She ran away, but every once in a while she'd stage an attack again. She wasn't much of a threat then. In fact, she was sort of entertaining at first. Gave everyone in town something to talk about. But when the Mechanists started fighting her, things got bad. Ants are easy to shoot, but add robots with lasers, and it got real nasty. The Mechanist used to be our town mechanic, Scott Walensky. Quiet guy, but plenty fierce with a wrench and some solder. Guy used to take care of a robot that protected the town, until it got torn up in one of the Ant Agonizer's lame little attacks. I guess he took it personal, because he made a mechanical suit and called himself the Mechanist, said he would lead a robot army to fight her. Now he doesn't even respond to his name, and his robot army is more dangerous to the town than the ants ever were.
The Silver Shroud could stop
My
them.
nephew Derek might know more about them. I swear it's all I can do to keep him from running into the fight whenever they come out. He might know more about where you can find them, but don't encourage the poor boy. He's had enough close calls. I most heartily agree. You can usually find one of the trade caravans at the entrance to town. They come through every day or two. Other than them, Porter's always got food for sale down at the diner. We used to have a better mechanic, but that didn't work out so well. I'll see what I can do. Ha! Damn near everything, I suspect. I founded the place myself, and I'm the reason this place stays fat and happy. Because I asked them to, I suspect. I grew up in these trade caravans, known most of them my whole life. I founded this place with my sister Daisy back in the day. Perfect stop along the caravan circuit. They're just small caravans that make rounds through the wastes, hawking their wares from Paradise Falls to Rivet City. They won't trade with anyone who's hit their friends, but that's about as organized as they get. I had thought about it, but some of these wasteland traders, well, they aren't exactly the organizational type. It'd take a pretty savvy businessman to make it worth their while to work together. Frankly, I'm not sure even I'm up to the task. That certainly is quite a lot of caps. It really would be a shame for those to go to waste, wouldn't it? I suppose I can call in a few favors with the caravans, talk with them about their inventory. Must keep the customers happy, right? So you just let me know what you'd like to see from the caravans, and I'll let them know what to focus on. Then you'd be looking for Lucky Harith, adventurer, martial artist, and occasional collector of the most deadly items known to mankind. He's a bit of an eccentric, but he deals in more weaponry than you can shake a sharp stick at. In fact, he's probably got a sharp stick, too. Harith's got quite a lot of weapons, but I'm sure he could improve his stock. An investment of 200 caps should see to that nicely. Excellent. Harith will be delighted. He usually is by most things, really. If Harith were a less reputable man, I'm sure he could use his armory to collect even more weapons. But he's a merchant, not a raider, so it's legitimate means only. Like a legitimate investment of 500 caps. An investment in weaponry is usually returned in short order, after all. I'll inform
If you
Harith.
have the barter perk.
That simply isn't feasible, I'm afraid. Harith's gear already rivals some mercenary armies. Anything further would be asking for trouble. Sure thing.
All this stuff is cut in half if you have that one.
Our man Crow handles most armor and clothing out on the trail. He grew up a tribal, but he traded in his loincloth for much snappier apparel long ago. It takes a fair amount of capital to expand into higher quality material, you know. Improving Crow's wardrobe would require a one-time investment of, say, 200 caps. Excellent. I'll send word to Crow right away. Sure thing. Then you'll be wanting Doc Hoff, or the Good Doctor, as he prefers. He prescribes everything from a good meal to stim packs to things that'll make your brain get up and dance. Sure thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna...
Our man Crow. Crow's armor is already rather extensive, but I'm sure it could be even more impressive. Isn't it, though? I'll send this right along to Crow. At this point, the merchandise of our man Crow is the best in the wasteland. I fear it's beyond improvement with further investments. All right. Sure thing. The Good Doctor's lab equipment isn't cheap. It'll cost about 200 caps for him to offer higher quality material. Excellent. I'll send word to the Good Doctor right away. At this point, it would be hard to improve Doc's medicine cabinet without a significant investment. Say 500 caps should suffice for him to offer a whole cornucopia of pharmacopoeia. Isn't it, though? I'll send this right along to him. As much as it hurts me to say it, there's really only so much that money can buy. The Good Doctor's supply cannot be improved at this point. Sure thing. That'd be Crazy Wolfgang. He does repairs and general supplies, but he prefers to call himself a junk dealer.
Unmarked.
As he says, he's overjoyed to assist those who have a deep need for his
I guess at the end, but the
junk.
best reward is
He's just like
more
that.
money
Says it
and
catches
more
people's
repair
attention.
Stuff that you can.
With an investment of
Yeah,
about 200
merchants
caps,
repair
I'm sure he could
items
improve the
and sell
quality
back
of his
to them.
materials, or at least offer more of them. Excellent. I'll see to it right away. At this point, it would require another pack Brahmin to carry his wares, but for 500 caps, I think he could offer more. Pricey, but worth it. Perhaps you can do so later when you have the proper funds on hand. All right. Glad to help, glad to help. You'll want to talk with Joe Porter over in Dot's Diner. I don't know who Dot was, but I'm sure Porter's food does her memory proud. When they're in town, you can find the caravan trader out front of the town. They say it's a good way to catch a visitor's eye. Enjoy! Good luck with the...
Yeah, I found a combat shotgun. And also because of the J.E. Sawyer mod, certain items actually give you damage resistance. So, combat armor gives you damage resistance, which is pretty awesome. And, yeah, this has definitely been a really unique playthrough for me because I practically never touched melee weapons in Fallout. Except for Fallout 4, that was actually pretty fun. Going around in a bathrobe that's armored, using your Arcanex War Axe, that's pretty fun. But, yeah, in Fallout 3 in New Vegas, I never really used melee weapons, because if I used melee weapons, we could just go play Oblivion or whatever. location of Oasis. Okay. I need to go on. Oh yeah, I also downloaded the Lucy companion quest mod. And yeah, there's like a little quest where you can improve her skills. Kind of like the Amada mod. Darren's discount. Nice. I would say this is technically my... This is technically my 9th playthrough of Fallout 3, and my,
Good to see you.
and my 8th playthrough of...
Oh
Vegas.
man, did you see it? Did you see it? The antagonizer was all like, "Fear me!" But the mechanist was all, "Stop, evildoer!" You sound like Uncle Ro. He never lets me watch when they fight. They're just about the only exciting thing that ever happens in this town.
You forgot the E.
Oh yeah, well, so's your face. You mean the superheroes? Yeah, I'll try to watch all of their fights. I don't know much about her except she really, really doesn't like people. That's kinda cool. I mean, sometimes people are jerks. I think her lair is somewhere in the caves to the north of the city. I've seen her aunts down there once in a while. Joe Porter said he found out something about her, but my uncle won't let him tell me. He says, don't encourage the poor boy. I knew the Mechanist back when he was just a normal hero. He used to be called Scott. Then he fixed up stuff around town. But one day, the antagonizer killed his favorite robot, and I told him he ought to fight back against her like a real superhero. Ever since then, he's been up on his forge and the back of the robot shop on the hill, working to protect us all from the antagonizer. No way! Don't stop them, they're awesome! Unless maybe you're going to be a superhero too. You could be called Brilliant Shadow and undermine all their plots with an army of mole rats. Well, okay.
I'll be the best superhero with the Silver Shroud.
Uncle Ro and I live in the Old Town Hall, and Mr. Porter runs the diner across the street. It's not really a big place, you know? It's okay, I guess. I heard it's safer than most places, because the raiders don't bother us. But I've never been anywhere else, so I don't know. Say hi to the Mechanist for me.
Good to see you.
I think you can talk to May.
What's up? You mean apart from having cheesy names? Actually, I think I might know something useful. One of the traders told me she sounded like a girl he used to know. Girl's whole family was wiped out by ants, not long before she showed up here. But they never found any trace of her body. Said her name was Tanya Kristoff. That might just be our little antagonizer. Only the best, handpicked from the wastes, for what that's worth.
Oh, a doctor's bag. Boy, I'm living large today.
A pleasure doing business with you. Sure thing. Where you headed? You certainly came to the right person. What do you like? I swear, those boys can't... Best place I ever worked in, and I guess I've worked about everywhere there is. We get some weird types passing through, but it's stable enough for a guy to make an honest living. I don't really see what more a man could ask for. Yeah.
Staying out of trouble? Good, good. Bro hired you to put a stop to their shit, did he? Guess he finally listened when I told him I haven't got the time to do it myself. It's easy enough to hide inside when those two square off, but they're only getting worse about it all. I don't know who she is, other than a crazy with an ant suit and a chip on her shoulder for humanity. She wasn't much trouble by herself, really. Her attacks were a joke, but at least stories of her kept some of the raiders at bay. If it helps, she was always attacking from the Warrens up north. Maybe you can find her ant nest in there. You mean Scott Walensky? I refused to call him by that ridiculous name just because his head got a screw loose. He used to be a damn good friend, and not just because he fixed my guns up. Now he spends all his time up in that bot shop, just thinking about fighting that antagonizer. Hardly even recognizes his own name anymore. If you could just make either one of them stop fighting, it'd do the trick. You probably wouldn't have to worry about the other one. I can't imagine Scott attacking the town with his robots, and that ant-agonizer girl was never much more than a sideshow freak by herself. Ro may prefer that you're thorough, but all I care about is that you get the job done, one way or the other. Fine by me. What? Canterbury's a good town. Ro's done a damned good job setting up the place, and no one can handle the day-to-day details like him. But when it comes to the big stuff, that's when he needs a little help. That's where I come in. Life and death matters. Putting down thieves. Protecting people from raiders who are short-sighted or stupid enough to attack, that sort of thing. Pretty much. Anything the man can't solve by talking at it. And don't misunderstand. He can solve a lot of things that way. I'm about the rarest thing out here in the wastes. A mercenary who lived long enough to retire.
That is rare.
I used to sell my services around here, so it was a natural place to settle down. Not a bad sort of retirement, honestly. If you're done asking questions, no problem. Go talk with Porter over in the diner. He'll set you right for food. You can find them out front. If you didn't see them coming in, that probably means they're all out on trips. If you're not in a hurry, you can wait a day or two. They'll be back around in time. Stay out of trouble.
Whatever you can do to help our town, we'd appreciate it.
What do you want? Can't you see I'm busy? Fine. Hi. Whatever. I'm Machete, and I've got better things to do than talk with you. Scram. Busy. Go ask someone else. This whole place would fall apart if it weren't for Dom and me keeping anyone from causing too much trouble. Fat old Ro may think he runs the place, but it's only because Dom lets the idiot. What? I know Dom doesn't want me just killing them. He and the Mechanist used to be friends or something. All I know is, next time they come to town, I bet I could solve the whole problem with one bullet for each of them. Yeah,